I'm loving the new Danny Brown album, Atrocity Exhibition. I just think he's one of the most unique voices as well as characters in hip-hop today. Definitely I'd say, and this is where a lot of people developed a love for Danny Brown's music, but his album XXX back in 2011 was a hugely extreme album with loads of references to a lifestyle of drugs and sex and just getting effed up. Quite disturbing to listen to. And actually I'd like to talk about XXX for a little bit because that album draws a lot of parallels to what's offered on Atrocity Exhibition. Although Atrocity Exhibition is definitely a lot darker, even darker than what's offered on XXX. On XXX, there was Danny Brown as a narrator just being very over the top with his delivery, with verses that were just so ridiculous, like on the track I Will, where he's just going on about eating a girl's pussy out, and if it's sour, I might eat it in the shower, or rocking it like Squidward with his clarinet. Ridiculous imagery going on there, but I think that was the point. A lot of the tracks offered on XXX were trying to convince the listener that this lifestyle of extremes was just so glorious and so wonderful. But obviously, due to the very over-the-top character and lyrics, as well as the very disturbing and experimental beats that kind of seemed very unsettling as well, it was very clear that this lifestyle wasn't actually as great as it was hyped up to be. Atrocity Exhibition pretty much goes down that same path, but in an even darker and more grim tone. And whilst I think XXX does a little bit of a better job kind of developing these ideas more, I still think Atrocity Exhibition, because of that darkness and that disturbing production that is offered this time round, I think it's still a fantastic LP from Danny Brown. First, I have to mention how brilliant Danny Brown's choice of beats are on this album. Again, things sound very metallic, they sound very harrowing, especially on the track Pneumonia with the metallic clangs, as well as the little chimes on the track Really Dough featuring Absol, Kendrick Lamar, and Earl Sweatshirt. There are tracks here that sample the track Atrocity Exhibition by Joy Division, which is a very fitting, very fitting choice of sampling. The track Dance in the Water, whilst I do think the actual sound of the song kind of got very tedious and kind of ear grating as the song went on, I do understand what the song was going for, sort of having a very upbeat and just very hyper portrayal of intoxication and living a lifestyle of drugs without living the consequences, hence the metaphor of dancing in the water and not getting wet. I find it very interesting that from start to finish, Danny Brown is portraying a downward spiral into a life of absolute dependence on these drugs, talking about snorting coke, getting high off these vegetables, as well as even getting sucked off while getting high and having an orgasm so intense it's literally like epilepsy. The lyrics on this album are very extreme, very disturbing, and very over the top, but if you can get past them, and if you can fathom the idea that this is all under a very horrifically vivid caricature of this lifestyle, then you can definitely get into these tracks and just enjoy what Danny Brown is offering, because, again, while some of the beats are very creepy and harrowing, some of them are just really, really catchy. Also, like XXX, there are moments in the middle to the back end of the album where Danny Brown actually lets go of that over-the-top personality and tries to be a little bit more serious about the way that he's portraying this lifestyle. He's actually being very upfront about how damaging it can actually be. Danny Brown actually regresses from having this heightened personality of, oh my god, she's on my testicle, and damn, to made 30 bands in 30 minutes. You kind of definitely notice that regression of a heightened personality to something that's a lot more moody and a little bit more deadpan. I think that this album is a fantastic record from Danny Brown. I was so excited for it as soon as When It Rain was released as a lead single, and it didn't disappoint at all. Didn't disappoint. Giving this one an 8 out of 10.